How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new test hand video for Infernoble Knights. I've changed my build up quite a bit since the last profile and the test hand videos before that. I was running a 50 card build with a much bigger Igknight engine. I've managed to trim it down to 40, I believe, and I'm playing some different engines that I've seen some other people play. Still playing the Igknights because I still think they're very good. And I like them over other choices like the red layer package. I really just think there's a lot of value to be had in the Igknights for me personally. I know not everybody will agree with that, but with my experience and time playing the deck recently, I feel as though the Igknights are a pretty welcomed addition to the deck. So I've also changed up a lot of ratios as well regarding things like Oliver and Ogier and things like that. Added in some choice spell cards, which we'll get to at the end of the video if I do an overview, look at the main deck and everything like that. But we're just going to go ahead and do, our standard normal test hands, as we usually do. And of course, if you guys want to help support the channel, you can do so by checking out Imperium Duelist down in the link in the description if you guys are interested in picking up any of these dice. They've got these and many other designs, MST Scapegoat, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Solemn Judgment, and this beautiful playmat too, 2-player cloth playmat, the Solemn Wars playmat. This is the Solemn Strike side. You got the Condemned, or the Witches Striked on the other side. If you guys want to pick this mat up, you can at the link below. Again, you can use that discount code WINNERKILLS 10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. And I'd also like to mention that if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, do not forget to use my affiliate link to them down in the description below. And also, if you guys are interested in early deck profiles, behind the scenes posts, and much more, consider hitting that join button down below as well to support the channel in a more direct way. Just thumbing through the build, you may see some things in there that are a little bit different, but still overall the same concept, I guess, as previous builds. I've seen a little bit of a few builds here and there based on, the Remote Duel Invitational and things like that. There's still a lot of things I'd like to add to this list that I don't have the physical cards for yet. And having physical cards is pretty important for this deck, for me anyways, because this is a deck that I pretty much plan to be the successor for Block BA, which I plan on doing like one more video with. Maybe a test hand video, maybe a live duel. Let me know if you guys want to see something like that before I completely change up, my Burning Abyss list and play a more control version of Burning Abyss. So that's just a little bit of a side note for those who are interested in Block Dragon BA and things like that. But let's draw into our first hand. Here we have Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, Infernoble Harm's Durandal. Make that 2 copies, a copy of Painful Decision. And our last card is the Furiter Kriesugler. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. But this hand is pretty great. I mean, it's not that great. Opening 2 Durandal is not great. But other than that, it's pretty good. One of the main reasons I wanted to play this card is because it helps to get level 3s in the graveyard and also add Igknights to your hand. The reason I found getting level 3s in the grave period was helpful for times where like a Stolfo would be a very good extender to grab, but oftentimes you just wouldn't have the right levels in grave, so Painful Decisions kind of filled a role to help set up a Stolfo and make it a better card, and also add Igknights to the hand like we're going to do now. So we'll use its effect. We're going to send an Igknight, a normal monster, level 4 or lower, normal monster to the deck. The graveyard and the Duke can add a card with the same name. So we're going to send Squire, and we're going to add Squire. So now we have Crusader and Squire, and those are both, appropriate scales. We did not open up a normal summon here, which is unfortunate. We didn't open up like Ogier or Neospace Connector. And the reason, and I'll just get this out on the table now as I resolve our Igknight effects here. The main reason I went with I'm currently trying the Neospace Connector build is because I wanted just to see how much more like impact the hand rip would have, and like how much more impact that it would offer versus that of like Squeak-Knight. I still feel like Squeak-Knight's a much safer bet, and just to show you guys an example, if we had Squeak-Knight, we could go ahead and search it off of our Igknights right now because it is a Fire Warrior. whereas, you know, Neospace Connector is not. But Neospace Connector has its own benefit in being able to get that of Dolphin out of the deck, and Dolphin obviously can take a look at the opponent's hand, which can be pretty beneficial in this format where there's a lot of hand traps being played, a lot of very good hand traps. I just feel like it can give a bit of a heads up all around. So here, as you might have expected, we're going to use our normal summon on that of the Ogier, and we're going to go ahead and send a Fighter Warrior from our deck to the grave, or a Noble Arms card. I'm actually going to send the Infernal Arms Joyous. I'm actually teching one of those. I've seen some other builds play one, but I do very much like it for its graveyard recursion. Basically, if those that don't know what it does is, while this card is equipped to a monster, you can target a Fire Warrior monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, then destroy this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Fire Warrior monster from your hand. And you can only use one Infernal Realms Joyous effects per turn, only once that turn. So, and again, this also plays into the sort of the synergy with Painful Decision, setting up graveyard effects and be able to, you know, add back Ignites to reuse again later. So we'll do that. We also opened the one of Gear Feed, and Gear Feed's a card that I also kind of want to bump up to 2. I'm only playing 1 in this list. Don't have the cash right now to really just go and grab a second one willy-nilly, especially since I need to get my hand on 2 more 3Ts. So yeah, you can already see how that adds up. So we're going to equip Durendal here. We'll go ahead and search that of Renault, and then we're going to destroy this, of course, via its effect. And then we're going to go ahead and summon Renault here via its own effect, and we're going to add back Joyous, you know, as a part of Renault's on summon effect. Then we're going to go ahead and link these two here. We're going to summon a Soul here, and we're going to activate its effect, and we're going to add Paladin here, and I want to play this out a bit differently. So let's say they go ahead and hit our Isolde with something like, you know, Valor here, or per se like Gamma on that other effect. Or something, let's just say like Valor or Ash when we use the second effect of Isolde. So we'll still send for cost, we'll send the Living Fossil, we'll send the Smoke Grenade, and let's say they hit us with an Ash right then and there. Now the question becomes, what do we do from here? You guys, I guess you'd have to pay attention to what you have in your grave. We opened up the Crusader, which was a 2 scale, which sort of makes things a little weird. So that forced us to put a 7 scale into the graveyard. So we want to add a 2 scale, especially since we had the opportunity to be able to get this card to our hand early on, which is pretty convenient. So what we can basically do now is equip this to the Isolde and add back that of the Squire and send this off. And now this is, again, one of the reasons why I like the Igknight so much. We can play both Paladin and Squire into the scale, and we can go ahead and Pendulum summon here this copy of Crusader. We could summon the Squire here, but I'm not sure if that will actually clog up our spaces too much. I can't think that far ahead, so forgive me. But what we're going to do now is basically just link these two, or not link them, rather, use their effects here. I'm getting my words all jumbled, my apologies. And we can go ahead and add Oliver. And then basically from here, we can just go ahead and tribute this Crusader off the board to summon Oliver. And then we can go ahead and link this off into a copy of Link Cross, and we're essentially off to the races, all the same, without needing our Isolde effect to resolve, or even if our opponent hit it with an Ash Blossom. So we're going to summon 2 level 2 tokens to the field, and then we're going to go ahead and link off the Oliver and the Link Cross into that of Halqifibrax. Now, this board may end a little weaker than the board, where we would have gotten the effect to actually resolve, but that's fine. I feel like most people have probably seen that combo play out fully uninterrupted several times, so I figured it'd be a little bit more beneficial to actually show off how it plays out when it doesn't go through as planned, because most of the time it probably isn't going to. So Halqifibrax is going to summon out the O-Lion here, and then we're going to go ahead and synchro the level 2 and the level 1 token into a copy of Martial Metal Marcher. We'll use our chain links here. O-Lion Chainlink 2, Marcher will be Chainlink 1. So we'll summon our level 3 token off of the O-Lion, and then we're going to go ahead and summon out the Oliver off of the Marcher. Now we're going to synchro the Oliver and the level 1 token into the Captain Roland. And then we're going to go ahead and link the Halqifibrax and this token here into a copy of the Big Funny Plane that goes burr. So now we're going to go ahead and summon 3 tokens to the field just like that. And here we're just basically going to synchro this 3, and this 3. Or what we could do instead is synchro this level 3 token and this Marcher into a copy of Coral Dragon, which is a new addition for me personally. And then synchro right up with this 3 here. This would be a 3. I'll just put this 3 here just so that creates less confusion. And then we'll synchro this and this into a copy of Charles. We could have also synchroed the Borreload Savage first. We'll draw a card. We draw into Heritage of the Chalice, which is pretty nice. Then we're going to go ahead and synchro this 3 and this 5 into a copy of Borreload Savage. Again, we could have done the Charles or the Savage first before the Charles. Doesn't make too big of a difference. And then we'll equip it with that of the Isolde, since Isolde has the highest attack in the graveyard. We do have Heritage of the Chalice, so we can go ahead and add a Noble Knight monster or Noble Arms from our deck to hand, but there really isn't much else to grab because we've already used Ogier and we've already used Oliver, so I guess we could just grab another Renault here at this point, or another Durendal per se. We'll just go ahead and grab, actually we can go ahead and grab a Stolfo here as sort of like an additional extender to have at this point. Although it won't make too big of an impact here, but we can still add it to the hand regardless. And from this point, what we're going to do is summon the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. Almost forgot about him. I know. And we'll banish the Joyous, and then we can go ahead and equip him with that of the Oliver. And then we can go ahead and start using our end phase effects here, which is going to be first Roland to send an equip spell. We have to send a Durendal. And we'll add any warrior from our deck to our hand. We're just going to go ahead and add Renault. And then we're going to equip from the grave this copy of Smoke Grenade of the Time Thief. I don't know why. I literally always say Time Thief. And then we'll add, or we'll equip it with anything from the deck. And I guess we'll just go ahead and equip like 6 Samurai Genba, since we don't really need that in the main deck right now. So we'll just go ahead and equip that, and then that'll proc the effect of Charles to destroy the Smoke Grenade. We'll take a look at their hand, and that is pretty much where that turn ends. Pretty solid turn if you ask me, and that was with our Isolde getting ashed. On that send effect, we were still able to play through it, and then pretty much on the same exact board, uninterrupted, no other, sort of road bumps, just plain old combo. And of course we could also use the effect of the Ogier Engrave to equip to Charles as well, or that of Gearfried to get it the added protection. And that pretty much ends that test hand there. That one was probably a little bit longer, but I had to decide, how I wanted to play that, if I wanted to, do it just the standard way, or, show off, what do we do if the Isolde gets ashed, because that's probably a pretty common thing that people want to know, probably a pretty common situation. You'd probably be pretty hard-pressed to find the Isolde going through uninterrupted most of the time. It will sometimes if the opponent won't open a hand trap, because that is likely to happen. Not, super likely, but it can happen. So I figured pretty important to get that out of the way. So now we're going to go ahead and do the next test hand here. We're going to go ahead and reset, and hopefully we can show off some more cool stuff. Alright, just about done shuffling here. Let's go ahead and start the second test hand of the video, and let's see what we draw into. Copy of Ash Blossom, a copy of Margrave, copy of Neospace Connector, another copy of Neospace Connector, and another copy of Infernoble Arms Joyous. I'm probably absolutely butchering that name. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's like Joyous, but that's probably wrong. But this is our hand. Not so bad at all. So I guess we're going to start with the Neospace Connector and go ahead and use its effect, and we can go ahead and grab that of the Aqua Dolphin from the deck. Now, this is one of those situations where if they have Ash Blossom, which I always bring up Ash because I feel like it's the most commonly played hand trap in the game, and I feel like, there's obvious reasons as to why. This card will be stopped outright. And for those that know what's coming in terms of the Aqua Dolphin, they're going to burn that hand trap right then and there, because why let them take it out of your hand before you can use it? Before you use it or lose it type scenario. But that I feel like is one advantage on the side of Sublimation Knight, is that you cannot ash that effect to equip with Igknight, because it is not, special summoning from deck like that of Neospace Connector. So that is one benefit to having, Sublimation Knight over Connector, but the simple effect of Aqua Dolphin resolving gives you so much more advantage in the play, so much more, I guess, like power level, I guess, in your play than that of Sublimation Knight. Although it might be a bit safer, so I'm not entirely sure. I might go with Sublimation Knight. Maybe halfway through this video, I'll switch and do some test hands with Sublimation Knight instead. But I feel like, I don't know. It's basically the hand rep versus, you know, the probability of losing it to Ash. So I just figured I'd bring that up as a point of conversation. So we'll use the Aqua Dolphin. We'll discard the Neospace Connector since we don't really need the extra one in our hand. And then we're going to go right into a Sold, as you might expect. But the rest of our hand is not looking super great. But we're going to do is going to go ahead and add a level 2 Igknight, or a scale 2. So we'll add the Crusader, and then we're going to use the other effect of a Soul here. And we're going to go ahead and send that of Durendal, if I can find it. And we're going to go ahead and special summon Renault here. Now, to sort of speak on the last test hand, if we are met with Ash here, we're still okay because we have a set of Ignites, which we can still use to go get Renault. Renault will grab back the Durendal that we sent for cost, and that will get us Oliver, and then we can literally continue the same exact way we did the last time. So this situation here, we have a little bit more cushion in terms of like dealing with interruption, which is nice, and that's, I think, another, you know, point on the side of the Ignites and why I like them so much. I've yet to encounter, you know, a lot of issues with them per se. So now what we're going to do, we don't have any real reason to use Joyous right now, so what we're going to do is just go ahead and add back the Durendal, first of all, off of the Renault. Then we'll play the Durendal. We'll go ahead and search. We're going to go ahead and search that of Oliver. And speaking of Oliver, and then we'll send this off, that was some of the ratio changes that happened that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, and that was bumping Oliver and Ogie, well, Oliver's numbers specifically, because Oliver's, I feel, is a very good extender. I don't have 3 of these. I'm going to be ordering a 3rd one very, very soon. I should have already ordered one. But I was just doing 1 Oliver, 1 Ogie previously. I'm still doing the 1 Ogie because I think it's still fine as a 1 of. But I kind of want to bump up to 3 of these. I'm only playing 2 currently. So from now, we'll go ahead and tribute this off for that of Oliver. And then we'll link this off into that of Link Cross. And we'll go ahead and use Link Cross's effect here to summon out 2 level 1 tokens that cannot be used for Link summons. Then we'll link these off here into a copy of Halqifibrax. Where is that pesky Halqifibrax? There it is. So now would come the question, like, well, what happens here if the Halqifibrax gets met with an Ash, or this gets met with an Imperm or a Veiler, or something like that? Well, I guess the only logical thing to do at that point would be to link into, well, first we'd have to play our Ignites. That would be one of the only courses of action that we could do. We could also potentially play Joyous to add back that of Renault, and then play our Ignites, send them off, go grab something like Gearfried, put that onto the board, summon Renault, using that as a tuner, and try to sync it with Martial Metal Marcher with all 3 of these cards to bring back the Oliver and try to make plays from there. I don't know off the top of my head, you know, how to continue off from there, but just know that if we do get hit here with something, that we still have plenty of plays to make thanks to these and this card as well, which is surprisingly coming in very clutch as of late. So we'll go ahead and continue on here. We're going to summon that of O-Lion from the deck, as we usually do at this point. Some situations, though, you won't always be summoning this, so keep that in mind, and we'll probably, hopefully, get to show that off in this video. I think I've showed it off in other videos of this deck, but we'll go ahead and use O-Lion, Chainlink 2, Marcher, Chainlink 1. We'll summon our token, and we'll summon back that of the Oliver. Now we're going to go ahead and synchro the level 4 and the remaining level 1 token from Link Cross into Captain Roland. We'll activate this effect here. Forgot to bring that up in the last test hand, but we'll activate the effect to activate in the end phase. We'll link these 2 into a copy of the Big Funny Plane. I'm also playing Appaloosa now instead of Borrelsword, because I feel like Appaloosa might give us a bit more value. Not that Boral Sword isn't a good card by any means, it's just I feel like the deck really doesn't need Boral Sword. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I feel like this deck, if it pulls off full combo to begin with, like you're going to be able to OTK with everything next turn regardless. And I know that's not going to always be the case, but I feel like Appaloosa might come in clutch a little bit more when bad hands are bad, and it can make them better. It can essentially allow our bad hands to do what they might not be able to do without Appaloosa in the extra deck. Hopefully that makes sense. So now we're going to stick with the 5 and the 1. We'll make Borreload Savage here first, and we'll put it in defense position because we want to worry about that pesky Lightning Storm. Well, we don't want to worry about it, I guess. We'll go ahead and equip that, make sure it's not in our Pendulum Scales so we don't clog those up because we do play Pendulums, of course. And then we're going to synchro the Martyr and the other level 3 token into that of Coral Dragon. And again, the only reason we do this is solely for the additional mid-combo draw pickup. We'll go ahead and summon that out. We'll draw a card. We draw a Reinforce from the Army, which is pretty good. Very, very good, I might add. So, there's very, very close here to actually being so much better. Actually, you know what? Ignore completely what I just said. What we can go ahead and do is play Reinforce from the Army here. And we'll go ahead and grab a level 3 Ignite and that of Squire. And I believe we added the Crusader off of our Isolde, so we can't special summon that one, but that's completely fine. We'll play our Scales, just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and Pendulum Summon for 1, and that's going to be for the Squire. We'll equip Joyous here. We'll add back that of Renault. We haven't used its effect from hand to summon itself yet this turn. This will get sent off. We'll special summon this, and we can synchro basically now into Herald of the Arclight. But first things first, we'll go ahead and send these off for a copy of the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. Just like that. And I know some people were saying that there were some conflicts with that of the Herald of the Arclight and the graveyard effects, but that they just don't conflict because we're not sending monsters to the graveyard. So it's never really an issue. So we'll summon the Herald of the Arclight right there, and then we'll summon the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried by banishing that of Joyous from the grave, and we can go ahead and equip it with Oliver just like that. And then in the end phase, again, because Herald of the Arclight says, any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. So we're not sending a monster, we're sending a spell here. And the spell we're sending, of course, is Smoke Grenade of the Thief. And if we don't already have that in the grave, we're going to send it. And then we're going to add any Fire Warrior or any Warrior from our deck to our hand. And I'm going to add a copy of Renault, as I feel like it's a good follow-up card for next turn, so it can get us a lot of stuff out of the grave. Then we'll use Charles to equip it with the Smoke Grenade, and then we'll equip the Ogier from the deck to that of Charles, proccing the effect of Charles to destroy the Smoke Grenade, which again does not conflict with the Herald. And we'll be able to take a card out of their hand. And we have an Omni Negate, a Monster Negate, and we also have a pop during the opponent's turn thanks to Captain Roland in the graveyard, and we happen to also open an Ash with plenty of room to play through 1 or 2 hand traps with that current that play that we had there for that hand. So very, very solid hand. Yeah, let's go ahead and go right into the next one. All right, deck has been thoroughly shuffled. Let's draw into our next hand here. We open a copy of Igknight Crusader, Neospace Connector, Igknight Squire, Igknight Paladin, and our last card is a copy of Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. So, yeah, I think I might be, and this is very little data. I mean, I've done some testing with this build outside of this video in some matches that weren't recorded because they were, you know, pretty rough around the edges testing matches. I think I'm coming around to the 40 card build a little bit better. Quite a bit, actually. I think I might stick around 40-ish cards or so, maybe up to 45, as I feel this deck could have the room, especially with the Igknight engine, but then again, I digress. So, well, let's go ahead and start with the Neospace Connector. Now, we could say, what if, like, hey, Winter, what if they ask you right here? We talked about it in the last test hand. Use it or lose it philosophy. They're going to burn the hand trap right now because they don't want us to take that hand trap out of their hand. Now, I could be completely wrong on that, but I feel like that's how it is. So what we can do to sort of get past that, I guess, is go ahead and play our Igknight. So we're going to say this is met with an Ash. We do not get to summon that of Neospace Connector. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and use Paladin and Squire. we're going to send these guys off to add a Fire Warrior from our deck to our hand, and you guys might already know what that one is going to be. It's going to be that of Fire Flint Lady. Fire Flint Lady going to come in huge here to help us extend further where Renault might not be able to, because this is not a Fire Warrior monster. Again, another example where I feel like this little check mark on the side of Sublimation Knight, that it can be paired with that of the Renault. But we still have Fire Flint Lady, which does the job just as well. So we can go ahead and link these two into a copy of the Isolde Two Tales of the Noble Knights. Now we can sort of get back on our investment that we made earlier in the turn. Earlier in this play, wasn't so much earlier, but using 2 Ignites very early on to get an extender in that of Fire Flint Lady. We can go ahead and just add a copy of Igknight Margrave right now to complete our scales, to pendulum summon, and also to search later on in the turn for whatever we need. So now we can go ahead and use the effect of Isolde here. Now if they have something like Valor here or Gamma would be pretty hard to get around here. If they were to use Gamma right now, we'd probably be pretty hard pressed to continue. We do have the opportunity for a pendulum summon actually, and we still actually have Igknight Margrave and Crusader to go ahead and pendulum summon first, then search Renault to summon Renault to the field, and go right into Isolde again, and actually continue comboing even if they Gamma here on the first effect. Hey guys, Winter from the future here to make a quick correction. So yeah, I mentioned Gamma being activated on Isolde's first effect, but I got a bit carried away with myself and actually resolved her first effect before realizing, I'm like, you know what, let's say there's a Gamma activated here. So I'd already added that card to my hand. I didn't even realize at the time. So I'm like, oh, we could play through Gamma because we have a set of Ignites in our hand already. But I got obviously one of the Ignites off of resolving our first effect, and if they did Gamma on the first effect, we wouldn't have that Ignite and we wouldn't be able to continue. So like the text says, we're just going to act like they hit us with a Ghost Ogre here and continue on. And the Isolde is sent to the graveyard and it's removed from the field. So what do we do from here? So we play both our Crusader and our Margrave to the board. And then we'll go ahead and Pendulum Summon one, of course. We do not have any Link Arrows, so we have to Pendulum Summon to our extra monster zone. Now we're going to go ahead and send these two off, and we're going to go ahead and search a copy of Renault, which is great. And what we can do from here is go ahead and Special Summon Renault while we control a Fire Warrior. We do not have any equipped spells to add back yet. That's completely fine. We're just going to go ahead and link into that second copy of Isolde, which hopefully they don't have anything for at this point. But we can't use the first effect because we've already attempted to use it, so that's completely fine. And what we can do here is, send our equip spells as costs here. And if they have Ogre, it's not so bad. If they have Imperm, that'll hurt a little bit. But then I guess we can at least get Gearfried on the board, and we still at least have something. But that's really just pushing it at that point. So what we can do here is, since we didn't use Renault's add back effect, we have two options. We can use this to send the Durendal to summon Renault, and Renault can add back this. And then we can play Durendal, send this off to go ahead and grab Oliver, tribute the Renault off of the Oliver, and then we can go ahead and link Isolde into that of Link Cross. And we're pretty much, on our way to pull off the whole combo once again through two hand traps here. And imagine if we had something like Triple Tactics Talent in our hand, how much further we could continue to go by either punishing them by taking a look at their hand and removing a good combo starter, extender or starter for their turn, or removing a potential another interruption, or we could draw more cards to try to draw into more combo pieces. It really depends on what favors you in that situation the most. We're going to summon a Lion here. Then we're going to synchro our level 1 token and our level 2 token into a copy of Martial Metal Marcher. We'll go ahead and use Marcher Chainlink 1, O-Lion Chainlink 2. We'll summon our token. We'll summon back that of Oliver. And now we're going to go ahead and synchro into Captain Roland. And we're going to activate Captain Roland's effect on summon to be able to search in the end phase. We'll link off the Halka Fibrax and the token into that of Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, the big funny plane. And we're going to go ahead and summon out 3 tokens just like that. And now here the party can sort of begin. We're going to synchro with the 5 and the 3 into that of Borlode Savage Dragon or Adamancipator Risen Draga. It's up to you. Really doesn't make too big of a difference. We're going to equip there. We'll go ahead and play our 2 counters. We'll synchro for a 6. Whoops, mixed up where my cards are going. And it doesn't matter that Marcher makes us a tuner because it already comes out as a tuner. We'll synchro a 6 and a 3 into a copy of the Charles. Now, I don't put Charles in defense here to play around Lightning Storm, mainly because we can usually equip it with something like Oliver, which I believe protects from destruction. Well, protects from targeting, but we can usually sometimes equip it with Ogier, which will prevent it from destruction via card effect anyways. And I'd rather not put it in defense position with 200 defense points. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to summon that field. We'll get to draw off of our Coral Dragon. We pick up Renault, which is huge. And then we can go ahead and summon Gearfried to the field by banishing Durendal and equipping it with Oliver. We'll equip that right there. We can end phase activate our effects. We'll send that Smoke Grenade. It's probably one of the most problematic cards in the deck, at least at this time. And then we're going to go ahead and equip, or add actually, not equip. We'll add a Stolfo here, just for an extra extender for next turn. Any warrior monster. And then we can equip, make sure this isn't in the Pendulum Zone, like I've said in the past. Follow my own rules here. And then we'll equip it from deck, and we can equip it with that of Ogier to protect it from destruction via card effect. And probably should also remember to put my Gearfried in defense position. Yeah, so we'll equip it with Ogier, and then once it's equipped, the monster's been equipped, we'll destroy the Smoke Grenade. We'll take a look at their hand. And since they've Gammaed us and Ashed us, they're down 3 cards, and they'll be starting their turn with 3 cards. Which is pretty good since, you know, we have a way to negate one of them potentially, another way to negate another one, and another way to remove one of their cards from the field with that of the Roland coming out to destroy a card. So that's a pretty good hand there. We played through Ash and Gamma, 2 very popular hand traps in the format, and yeah, feeling pretty good there with the Ignites. I know, again, some people don't like them. I'm not putting this video out there to be like, this is why Ignites are superior. I just like them, and these are the reasons why I like them. I hope nobody feels the need to like type a novel down in the comments section as to why I shouldn't play the Ignites, because you definitely don't need to do that. Don't even worry about it. I just really like the Ignites. It's the playstyle that I'm used to playing. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and shuffle the deck up here, and we're just going to do it like a normal test hand here at the end. Just play it out fully, freely, uninterrupted. And just go full on and see if we can end on just the same or better. Alright, so just finishing up shuffling here for our last test hand, and I know you guys have been asking, at least a lot of the feedback I've gotten regarding test hand videos is, you know, not always playing through uninterrupted, but, you know, trying to incorporate more playing through interruption to see where to go from there, because I feel like, and I agree with you guys, that is where more valuable information lies. Obviously, in some cases, one interruption won the turn, but this is one of those decks. And these are one of those videos where I've been able to show off to you guys, you know, where to go when things don't go as planned. I hope you guys have liked that. I'll try to continue it in the future where I can. Still trying to figure out how to do going second decks a little bit more realistic as far as test hands are concerned. It takes a lot of extra effort to be able to simulate boards, whether it be in post-processing or in the actual video setup. But I digress. Let's go ahead and finish shuffling here and draw into our last test hand of the video. I believe that's only 4 test hands, but we've been doing them a lot slower and a lot more in depth, so bear with me. So we open up a copy of Aqua Dolphin, a copy of Gearfried, oh boy, O-Lion, oh god, and our last card is a copy of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Ooh, boy. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and pretend like that last hand didn't happen. And we're going to draw into our actual last hand of the video and see what we can do. So let's try that again. We'll just pretend like that didn't happen. So we draw into Neospace Connector, copy of O-Lion, copy of Ogier, a copy of Squire, and our last card is a copy of Durendal. So drawing the O-Lion here isn't so bad because, well, you know, having that in hand, we can still summon it off Halka Fibrax. But the problem then becomes, with this particular hand, you know, we had the potential to do a play line where we summon Jet Synchron off of Halka Fibrax and then summon the O-Lion off of the Auroradon effect, which can only summon from the deck. So having it in hand is a potential brick here. That involves doing the play line where we summon Ogier as our normal summon, and is also a potential anti-Nibiru route, but I feel like Nibiru has fallen slightly out of favor this format. So what I'm going to do is just start by normal summoning the Neospace Connector here. We've done a lot of what ifs this entire video, so for this last test hand, we're going to play it out completely uninterrupted here and play it out with this O-Lion in hand, because I think that's pretty fine. We could discard the O-Lion right now, but I think that would be kind of wasteful, so instead we'll just discard the Yogi to the grave, take a look at their hand, take a card out of their hand, burn them for a little bit of damage. You know, it's a party all around. We'll go into a Sold, and we'll add an Igknight from our deck to our hand. We're going to go ahead and add that copy of Crusader to sort of complete our scales. And then we're going to go ahead and send a equip to the deck, from the deck to the grave. We're going to send just one here, and it's going to be that of the Living Fossil for Renault. Renault will add back Living Fossil. We'll play Durendal. We'll go ahead and search that of Oliver, sending off the Durendal. Now at this point, it becomes pretty clear as to what we do. So I was actually thinking here for just a moment if that we send the Joyous instead, we can add back the Renault later on in the combo to summon to the field as a level 1 tuner, which would pair nicely here if we had another Igknight in our hand per se, like another level 3, because then we could potentially end on Herald of the Arclight, but we don't have a way to do that right now, so I think it's a little bit safer to add the Living Fossil to our hand instead. So yeah, I just want to get that out of the way. But either way, we'll continue on here on our Path of Destruction. We'll summon out the Oliver. We'll link this off for probably one of the most fair and balanced link monsters I've seen in a little while, and that is, of course, Linkross. We'll summon two level 1 tokens of the field. We'll link off the Linkross and that of Oliver into that of Halqa-Fibrax. We've already drawn our Halqa-Fibrax target, so we'll just summon that right from our hand to save a little time. We'll synchro the O-Lion and the level 1 token into a copy of Martial Metal Marcher. We'll go ahead and summon our level 3 token and our Oliver back from the grave, and then we'll go ahead and synchro our level 4 and our level 1 into a copy of Captain Roland. And we'll activate this effect to trigger in the end phase, and then we'll go ahead and link off the Halqa-Fibrax and the remaining token into a copy of the Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. From there, we will summon 3 more tokens. Now we're going to synchro the 5 and the 3 into a copy of Borreload Savage Dragon. Importantly, remember to put it in defense position, equip it with a Sold, because it does have the highest attack in the graveyard. That will give it 2 counters for next turn. Now we'll synchro the Marcher and the other level 3 token into a copy of Coral Dragon, then synchro the Coral Dragon, the remaining level 3 token into that of Charles. We'll draw an additional card, and we draw Heritage of the Chalice, which isn't a bad draw here because we can use it to actually go ahead and grab something per se like a Stolfo. Or we could use it to grab the Infernoble Arms Joyous, which I think I'm actually going to go ahead and do now. And we'll grab that to our hand, add a Noble Knight or Noble Arms card. So we'll add the Joyous to the hand, and then from here, what we can do is play both of our Igknights in the scale here. We don't have anything to Pendulum Summon, so we'll just skip that step and then go ahead and destroy them to search a copy of Mortal Phoenix Gearfried. We'll special summon Gearfried to the field by banishing, let's see, what do we have in grave here? Banish a Durendal, and then we'll equip it with that of Oliver, and we'll equip it right there underneath our Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, and hope to God we're not playing against Mech Knights, because we've given them way too many free columns at this point. And now here, we can actually still have another interruption here. We can go ahead and play Living Fossil, and we can go ahead and summon out the Neospacing Aqua Dolphin, play Infernoble Arms Joyous to target that of Renault, add that back to our hand, and then destroy this card. And then we can special summon this card from hand since we haven't used that effect yet, and synchro these. This will get banished because of the effect of Living Fossil. Synchro these into Herald of the Arclight. So we're actually able to pull that off there if I've done everything correctly, which sometimes I don't, as you guys know. But now we'll proceed to the end phase where we'll activate our effects, and we're sending a spell to the graveyard so we won't conflict here with that of Herald of the Arclight. And we'll send the Smoke Grenade. We'll add any warrior monster from our deck to our hand. I'm just going to add a copy of Renault for next turn as a decent follow-up. And then we'll use the effect of Charles here to equip it with the Smoke Grenade of the Time Thief. Again, I said it again there. I'm not even trolling you guys. I literally always mix them up. It's actually unbelievable. We already have Ogier engraved, so what we'll do is equip it with a Stolfo from the deck. Just so at any point we can, get it to the graveyard a little bit easier to be able to use its graveyard effect to, set up that sort of gold sarcophagus type effect. We'll use Charles here to destroy the Smoke Grenade. We'll take a look at their hand, and whatever card we hit out of their hand, if it's a monster, will get banished, actually, because of Herald of the Arclight, which is very great. So yeah, that rounds out that test hand there, and with it, the test hands, all the test hands for this video. And now we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the main deck. So here's a quick look at what the current 40 card list looks like. If there were any changes I would make, it would be just adding to the deck in general, I guess. Would probably be adding a third Oliver and a second copy of Gearfried, and alongside that, probably 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent to go up to 45 cards total. That would do a couple things. Allow us really just to add a bit more consistency cards to the main deck. Things like Triple Tactics Talent, because again, we're going to be sort of hand trap magnets with that of Isolde, giving us greater chance, and just more copies of Gearfried, more copies of Oliver's potential extenders, and also spacing out the brick cards that we really don't want to draw in that of O-Line, Genba, and Jet Synchron. Now, I guess, you know, increasing the deck count doesn't really increase consistency, but in the terms of lowering our chances of seeing O-Line, Genba, and Jet Synchron, it does increase consistency. While it may be by a small margin, you know, we'll still take it at the end of the day. If there was a way that I could add a third Oliver and a second Gearfried to the main deck without going over 40 and adding Triple Tactics Talent, I probably would. That might mean I would need to dig into the Igknight engine, which I'm very, very fond of at the moment and don't really want to cut. Other things I might include considering are a copy of Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, and also probably considering just changing the connector package with the Aqua Dolphin, going back to that of Sublimation Knight, because of the synergy that it has and its protections against Miss Blossom over here. But again, probably Triple Tactics Talent would go in just for more firepower against going second, or going into boards and playing through people's hand traps and things like that. That'd probably be one of the biggest reasons to play it. I just got to get the cards, etc., etc. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. The extra deck, I'll just thumb through real quick. It's pretty standard for the most part. Charles, Borreload Savage, Dragite, Coral Dragon, Roland, Herald, the Martyr, and the Tatsunoko. Appaloosa, Rorodon, the Halqifibrax, to Isolde, I almost called it Falco, Phoenix, and Linkross. Extra deck, I still kind of want to experiment with a few other things, like maybe adding like an Abyss Dweller in here, maybe replacing the Nightmare Phoenix with something like IP Masquerena, or maybe just Nightmare Unicorn in general, or maybe something like Link Karibo. These cards really are for another build that don't play Halqifibrax, Linkross, or Rorodon, which you guys have seen already on the channel. But yeah, that's a quick look at what this list looked like in this current video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I might be updating a deck profile in the next few weeks or so, and might be making some of those changes that you guys heard me talk about. I might go up to 3 Flyer Flint Lady, just because it's such a good, well-rounded card for the deck. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we're going to signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And last but not least, a special thanks to my Divine level channel members here on YouTube, Academic Thick, Travis Harris, and Zors. Thank you guys again so much for continuing to support.